Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of my wrap-up. So today we are doing the next, I think, 14 books. So let's just get into it. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll link it up in the cards so you can watch that one first if you want to know the other 14 books that I read this month. But let's just get into it. The first book I want to talk about is The Unhoneymooners, and I really love this book. So, of course, me don't remember names. In this book, we are following Olive, and basically, Olive's sister is kind of the lucky one. She has kind of won her honeymoon. The wedding is for free, and basically, the buffet in the wedding is free. Basically what happens is that everyone gets sick in the wedding except Olive and the groom's brother called Ethan. And basically the siblings that was married said that you need to take our honeymoon because we can't go because we're sick. So basically Olive and Ethan goes on this honeymoon pretending to be their siblings, and they don't like each other, which is super funny. Love it. So yeah, I give this 5 stars. It's a reread and I still really enjoy this book, and I read it in a day, so it's not that difficult to read. The next book I read was The Empress of Salt and Fortune, and I don't know how to explain this book. It's about the Empress, and yeah, I don't know how to explain this book. It's very whimsical, I almost said. It's a weird book. I gave it 3 stars. I liked it. I mean, it took like an hour of an audiobook, so it's very short. So yeah, I liked it. Not my favorite, but yeah. Then I read Every Heart a Doorway, and in this we are following, is it Nancy? I think it's Nancy. And basically she goes to a place for wayward children, and that is basically children who has been to a portal world like Narnia or like Alice that went to Wonderland. So it's kind of those worlds, and basically this place is for kind of those who want to go back, who kind of don't feel like they belong in the real world anymore. Again, it's 4 stars. It is actually a reread. I gave 3 stars the first time. I bumped it up to 4 stars because I really did enjoy it the second time around. And then I read When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain, and this is kind of the companion to The Empress of Salt and Fortune, and it's basically what it says is when the tiger came down the mountain. And yeah, I don't know how to explain this book either. I gave also these 3 stars. I liked it. It was interesting, but I don't know how to explain them, to be completely honest. The next book I read was Enjoy the View, and basically in this one we are following a former Hollywood star called River, and basically to kind of get out there again, she decides that she wants to film a documentary about Moose Springs, which basically all of the people in Moose Springs don't like people, like visitors, tourists. So basically what happens is that it turns out to kind of climb this mountain, and Easton is the one that is kind of there to do the job, to get them up on top of that mountain. And things happen, and I gave these 4 stars. I really liked this book, and yeah, definitely liked it, and I liked it much more than the second book. So yeah. Then I read The Truth of You, and this is a arc I got off NetGalley, and it basically says that poetry about love, life, joy, and sadness. So it's about that. And I gave these 4 stars. I really did enjoy it. If you want more thoughts, this one was for my 48-hour bookathon. I will link that one up in the cards if you want to watch that one as well, where I maybe give some more thoughts about the books, you know. So the next book I read was Pastel Pink, and basically this book I got off NetGalley as an arc, and yeah, basically in this one we are following this girl, and basically she comes from Earth, called Ruby, and basically what happens is that she's murdered on Earth 18 years ago, and then she's kind of reincarnated on Sadok, which is this place, and basically a pestle, which is kind of the bottom of the barrel, called Harlow. And basically she was born low race from like a middle class, so it's kind of messed up there because the middle class called Magentas don't particularly like her. And basically she's out on this picking, and basically what happens is that she's attacked, and the venom of this creature causes like this phenomenon where she can kind of, her human spirit is like thrown back to Earth, so she can be Ruby, not like, people can't see her, but you know, she can see them, and she sees that the guy that killed her are back, and is kind of getting close to her sister, which she loves so very dearly on Earth. Doesn't get along with on Sadox, but so yeah, I gave these 4 stars. I really like this book, and I can't wait to read. I think the next one is Ruby Red, and the author said that it will be out on NetGalley this month, so yeah, if I can get an e-arc of that, I will definitely get to it. If not, I will just have to wait, which you know, I'm bad at. Yeah, the next book I read was Voyager, and this is the 3rd book in the Outlander series, so can't say much about this particular book, but in the first one we are following Claire. And Claire was on her honeymoon in 1945, I think, and basically on the Scottish Highlands, and basically she goes to this rock formation and is kind of thrown back in time to 19. I never remember the date. She's thrown back almost like 200 years, I think. So there she meets Jamie, which is the Scottish Highlander, and things happened, and I really like it. This is the 3rd book. I still have more to go, and they are only getting longer and longer, so I'm taking a break now, and maybe in the next month. Probably I will continue on very soon. I gave this 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, but I have to say there are a few parts I don't like in this book, but the book was so long, and you know, there weren't like repeatedly happening, so yeah, I still really enjoyed this book. Then I read On the Rocks. And in this one, we are following Noah Becker, and he is kind of nothing but trouble. At least people say that. And he works at this whiskey distillery, and then a girl comes in to buy whiskey for her fiance, and that is Ruby, and basically she's like 19, and she's the mayor's daughter, and she's going to get married to this guy that is also into politics. And yeah, basically she's thrown kind of into Noah's life, and things change because he sees her, and yeah, things are happening. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to read about the other Becker brothers. So then I read Fire Falling, which is the second book in the Air Awakens series, and in this series we are following Vala. And basically they discover that she is a kind of a windwalker. I think it's windwalker. And basically she's kind of thrown into this life. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say about this. I really love this. I gave it 4 stars. And yeah, it was really good. And yeah, I can't wait to continue on with this series. Then I read Wolfzone. In this one we are following Ox, and basically he meets this 10-year-old boy called Joe, and basically he befriends him like instantly. Like Joe really likes Ox, and then they get friends, and kind of time goes on, and he eventually get to know that they are werewolves. And something terrible happens, and Joe leaves, and he comes back like years later, and there is a romance, and I gave it 5 stars. I loved this book. It's a really long book, but I think I read it in like 2 days, so it shouldn't be a problem. I loved it. And yeah, this might not be everyone's cup of tea, because they were like, he was like 15 maybe, and the boy was 10. There is an age difference, like in the beginning when they are friends. However, Joe is 17 when, I don't know if it's when he leaves or when he gets back. I think it's when he leaves, and they are away for like 3 years. So I don't remember 100%. Then I read Mr. Masters, and this is about this girl, and she is an au pair. She comes from Australia to England, I think it's in England, to work for Mr. Masters, and basically she thinks it's a woman, but it turns out to be a man. So let's just say this is a single dad nanny forbidden romance, and I gave it 3 stars. I didn't like it that much. I just felt like the Julian Masters was just a little too much, and he did things that I just wanted to punch him for. So then I read Skyward, and this is Brandon Sanderson's YA book, and in this we are following Spencer. And basically Spencer has always wanted to become a pilot. However, her father was deemed a coward when he turned and kind of ran away from the fight. However, Spencer still wants to try, and yeah, basically also try to figure out what happened to her dad. I gave this 5 stars. I loved this, and yeah, I definitely can't wait to continue on. It's going to be like 4 books, and I can't wait. Then I read Skyborn, and this is kind of the second in the Tales of the Sith, which is Star Wars. I try to read at least one Star Wars book a month. So in this one we are kind of exploring the Siths, and I gave it 3 stars. I really did like this, but you know, it wasn't like I don't love it, and you know, I never like short stories, but it was okay. I liked it enough. But that was actually all the books that I finished this month, and I hope you like this, and I will see you next time for another video. Bye!